What is up, though, Lions fans? It's your boy, Motor City Don P, back once again on the scene, back once again on the screen, back once again doing the things, back once again. You know the thing. One thing is for certain. Three things are for sure. Number one is that the Motor City Cats are indeed back at it. Number two is that we came to give you stats and not static. Number three is that we want to make sure that you keep your Lions news pragmatic, and the way that you do that. How? They say, how, Don? How? How do you keep your Lions news pragmatic? Well, it's very simple. You smash that like button, you subscribe, you make sure that you share and you let everybody know what is going on around here, and let everyone know that the Motor City Cats are indeed keeping your Lions news pragmatic, and that is how you do it. It's very simple. It's not too difficult. We make it that way. But anyway, we got some things that we got to get into today, man. I call this the silly season. As I said before, if you hear anyone else using this term, probably the type of person that looks like a cue ball, especially the one, the cue ball, the one that you strike with the pool stick when you are playing billiards, that one. Anyone that looks like that using this term, the silly season, stole it. Like a lot of things that they've stolen. But the silly season is upon us. The silly season gets really silly. This is the part of the off season where you have nothing to talk about. This is the type of season where someone will come and tell you that Justin Fields is the quarterback of the future in Detroit. Even though he's never been in Detroit as far as being on the team, he's been an opponent, right? On the opposite sidelines, I think, 3 times in Detroit? What was he here? He was in Chicago for 3 years. So if it was 3-4 times in Detroit. That's where Justin Fields was, on the opposite side of the sidelines. And remember, the last time he came, he was doing all that there, and they lost. Okay, because he thought he put the game away. All this. Okay. So you hear a lot of crazy things during the silly season. So one of these things that we've seen is today we're going to talk about Terrion Arnold, the disrespect. Because someone had a take about Terrion Arnold. Yes, cue ball. What up, though? What up, though? Tailor-made media. Someone had a take about Terrion Arnold that I just thought was absolutely ridiculous. And I wanna read from it because I don't want to say do it justice, but I don't want to skimp. I don't want to paraphrase. I want to tell you exactly what he said. Now, when I clicked on the article in the beginning, it was an article by Mike Payton. And you may have thought to yourself, because I thought to myself, oh, this dude here, this Mike Payton dude, yeah, boy, this man is up here trying to try everybody in the Detroit Lions organization. This man is up here trying to stir up controversy. This is what Mike Payton does. You know, the whole J-Mo situation. I thought he learned his lesson. But it wasn't about what Mike Payton was saying. Mike Payton was simply reporting something that he had heard or he had read, and this came from another person. Okay, so Mike Payton, you're off the hook. This is not a Mike Payton situation where Mike Payton is being malicious, where Mike Payton is being irresponsible, where Mike Payton is trying to stir the pot. Okay, now obviously this is a pot stirring topic that Mike Payton has reported upon, but he is simply reporting upon it. He is not saying it. This is not his opinion, to my knowledge. So we're going to go through it. The title of this article is NFL Analyst Believes Terrion Arnold is on the verge of being a bust. I'm also an NFL analyst, right? Anybody who analyzes the NFL, it's an NFL analyst, right? So, hey, that's me too. But this ain't me saying these things, okay? He's not quoting me, okay? I'm quoting somebody else. All right. So a first round draft bust is not something the Detroit Lions have had to deal with in quite a while. Not since Jeff Oh Hell No Kuda back in 2020. First of all, give me a pound dog, okay? Because Mike Payton kept it real on that one. He kept it realistic on that one. Jeff Oh Hell No Kuda is indeed, and in fact, a bust. You can officially label this man a bust because he was drafted in 2020 and it is 2025 and he is on his fourth team. The Detroit Lions, the Atlanta Falcons, the Houston Texans, and now the Minnesota Vikings. Now, I haven't heard anything come out. I don't know if he makes it to camp. I don't know. I don't know anything about him being at OTAs, mandatory minicamp. I don't know anything about any of that because I don't follow the man. I just see it when it pops up that he is on another team. And he has come back to the NFC North after having many offers. He wanted to come back to the NFC North because he wanted to smoke. I hope, just as I hoped when we were playing the Houston Texans, but now I can hope twice a year. I hope Jeffrey Juan Oh Hell No Kuda. Okay, no, he's sorry. He's Nigerian. So Jeffrey Namumbo Oh Hell No Kuda. Okay, finds himself across from one Jameson Williams twice a year. I don't know what kind of injuries they would have to go through for him to even make the squad. I don't know what kind of injuries they would have to go through after he makes the squad for him to actually get in a game and play, because he is a draft bust. This is what we're focusing on. We're not focusing on my personal feelings for Jeffrey Oh Hell No Kuda. We are focusing on the fact that he is a draft bust and that the Detroit Lions have not dealt with a draft bust so colossal as one Jeffrey Namumbo Oh Hell No Kuda. Now, with that being said, I don't wish injury on anybody. So I hope just the 24-hour stomach flu for any cornerback that is ahead of Jeffrey Namumbo Oh Hell No Kuda on the depth chart before the Detroit Lions game. And Jeffrey Namumbo Oh Hell No Kuda, Namumbo is not actually his middle name. It's just one that I made up, and I'm rather proud of it. So I'm going to keep it. Jeffrey Namumbo Oh Hell No Kuda finds himself opposite Jameson Williams. It is barbecue chicken alert. It is burnt toast. It is blackened Cajun chicken with a sesame seed reduction. Y'all forgot they used to call me chef. Okay. All right. Oh, we could put a raspberry reduction on that thing, right? For blood. Okay? The color of blood. Because we gonna see blood in the water. We some sharks around here. J-Mo gonna be doing the shark chomp on him all game. I hope. It's not gonna happen, but a man can dream, right? Everybody's gotta have a dream. Anyway, let's get back to this article. It says that not since Jeff Okudah back in 2020. That one did not work out. Brad Holmes and his team have been pretty good at this whole drafting thing. But one analyst believes that the Lions might have a bust soon in Terrion Arnold. Now, let me put this here. I got this cup. Let me put this cup here. Brad Holmes came in and Jeffrey Oh Hell No Kuda was on the team. Brad Holmes came in, Jeffrey Oh Hell No Kuda was on the team, got chewed out by Aubrey Pleasant. Aubrey Pleasant got fired, and then Jeffrey Oh Hell No Kuda got injured, and then Jeffrey Oh Hell No Kuda was gone. Okay? Now, I don't find any pleasure in anyone's injuries, but it's very ironic that Jeffrey Oh Hell No Kuda tore his Achilles while getting burnt. Because getting burnt was kind of his thing. It was his specialty when he was in Detroit. And I don't wish injury on any man. I'm just saying it is kind of his thing. to get burnt. This is why we call him Jeffrey Namumbo Barbecue Chicken. Oh, hell no, Cuda. Okay? We call him Jeffrey Namumbo Cajun blackened chicken with a raspberry reduction. Oh, hell no, Cuda. You get the point. One analyst believes that the Lions might have a bust soon in Terrion Arnold. Now, I'm going to get to why this is ridiculous in a second. There is a segment of Detroit Lions fans who they don't like Terrion Arnold. And I get it that you don't like him because you felt like when you watched rookie corners this year, you had Cooper DeJean, who played only in the slot. You had Quinyon Mitchell, who many of us wanted. I wanted Quinyon Mitchell over Terrion Arnold. I'm not going to lie to you. I wanted Nate Wiggins because that boy runs a 4.2, but can he stay healthy? He's like Chet Holmgren in the body. Okay, very skinny, very skeletal. Okay? But we got Terrion Arnold. And Terrion Arnold sucked, apparently, last season. Terrion Arnold was the worst corner in the league, apparently, last season. Terrion Arnold was a 5-year vet last season that looked like a rookie. This is what I'm hearing from the fan base. Okay? He was a 5-year vet that looked like a rookie. And it's unacceptable for a 5-year vet to look like a rookie. And I agree with you that it is unacceptable for a 5-year vet to look like a rookie because when you have a 5-year vet that looks like a rookie, you are in Jeffrey Oh Hell No Cuda territory. Jeffrey Oh Hell No Cuda is a man, and after this, I digress. Jeffrey Oh Hell No Cuda is a man. Jeffrey Namumbo Oh Hell No Cuda is a man that once he stepped on the football field as a number 3 overall pick, I said to myself, wow, this man, I'm not sure, has ever played football before. That was the vibe I got from Jeffrey Namumbo Oh Hell No Cuda. A man that had never played football before. And then we had a guy that we had drafted years earlier. His name was Ziggy Ansah. He was he was Guyanese. He's from Ghana. He was not Nigerian. But he had really never played football, right? He played it in college at BYU for a little bit, and we still had to teach him the ropes. And guess what? That man was phenomenal. He just couldn't stay healthy. But Jeffrey Cuda was that type of guy. What up, though? Tactical Sport, TaylorMade Media. What up, though? Motown Mitch. What up, though? Mary Smith. All right, I'm going to get back to y'all in a second. Let me pop this chat out so I can have, a little bit more access to it while I'm on this article so we can have our reactions. Okay. Put it over here on my second screen. If it will drag for me. Come on now. All right. Motown Miss said that's an automatic reception. We're talking about Jeffrey Ohano Cuda. Went from chef to master pimp, special ops to Don. He said, what? Don't like Terrion Arnold? How, Sway? I'm going to tell you. All right. So, Motown Mitch says, first 4 or 5 games, TA had 8 to 10 of his penalties. The rest of the year, he had 4. Exactly, but Motown Mitch, those are facts. Those are facts that people don't want to admit or talk about. They just like to go, hey, that guy's a bust. So now we're going to look at what this person has to say. This man goes by the name of Matt Holder. He deals with an organization that I don't respect. I don't know if I disrespect this organization more than PFF, probably more, because What do they offer? But this organization is Bleacher Report. So Bleacher Report's Matt Holder put out a list of first-round picks from the 2024 NFL Draft who he believes need to do certain things to avoid being a bust. Okay? Now, you heard this. He put out a list of 2024 NFL Draft, first-round NFL Draft players who need to avoid doing certain things to become a bust. Yes, you heard that right. The draft that just happened last year. we are coming off of a draft in which Shamar Stewart, who was the Bengals' first round draft pick, left camp, mandatory minicamp early. This is his first mandatory minicamp. This is his first training camp, which I don't even know if he will attend. And this is his first NFL season, which I don't even know if he will play. If he doesn't play, if he doesn't sign with the team by a certain point in the season, he will be eligible to re-enter the NFL draft. So we're fresh off of a guy who was about to possibly re-enter the NFL draft next year. So that means that the crop of rookies from last year are now entering their second year, and this guy is already talking about them being busts. If you are a Jeffrey "Oh hell no" Kuda, yes, you are a bust after your first year because no, you don't have the ability to play football. Okay? It was very clear and very apparent that Jeffrey "Oh hell no" Kuda, and I know I'm talking about this guy a lot, Jeffrey Namumbo, "Oh hell no" Kuda. I know I'm talking about him a lot, but we got to have comparison. I didn't bring him up. Mike Payton brought him up. Okay, it wasn't me. This ain't my article. Mike Payton did it. It was very clear that man didn't have the chops. I don't know why he continues to make it. I guess he's good on. Well, I'm going to tell you what. I'm going to say something nice about Jeffrey Namumbo. Jeffrey Namumbo, "Oh hell no" Kuda, is a hell of a linebacker. Boy, the way that he could tackle and the way he could take out his own teammates and concuss two of them in one game. Boy, the way he could concuss Kirby Joseph. Oh, that Jeffrey Namumbo, hell no Kuda, linebacker du jour. But unfortunately, he was a cornerback. So maybe his linebacking skills are keeping him in the league. I don't know. But that's what a bust looks like. From day one, you knew he didn't have it. Terrion Arnold ain't on that list. I'm sorry, but we'll continue. He included Arnold on that list. Here is his reasoning. I just said he ain't on that list. He said he's on the list. He said, fair or not, the Detroit Lions selected Terrion Arnold with the hopes he could solve one of the most significant issues from the year before, as cornerback was arguably their biggest weakness heading into last year's draft. However, the 24th overall selection got picked on as a rookie, surrendering the 10th most receptions, 56 among cornerbacks, and a 99.2 passer rating when targeted during the regular season, according to Pro Football Focus. So this man from Bleacher Report references PFF. You can't make these things up. Listen, Terrion Arnold was brought in to solve the biggest weakness. I want to ask you guys in the chat. Who were our corners the season prior to Terrion Arnold reaching the Detroit Lions? Who were our corners? Does anybody remember? Who our corners were? Because I'm basing this off of fair or not, the Detroit Lions selected Terrion Arnold with the hopes he could solve one of the most significant issues from the year before, as cornerback was arguably their biggest weakness heading into last year's draft. Who were our corners? Somebody in the chat, let me know. Who you got? Because I know who the corners were. I just want you guys to type it out. Okay? Telemade Media says Mike Payton must get a bunch of reads because it seems like every Lions content creator mentioned his articles. Yeah, because they're controversial. And they give us a lot to talk about. All right, Motown Mitch says Cam Sutton, Jerry Jacobs. Okay, Taylor May, you forgot. Motown Mitch told you. Cam Sutton, Jerry Jacobs, and Motown Mitch. Who did Jerry Jacobs take over for? Do you remember who he took over for? I think you should remember. He actually was taken under his wing, and he was an undrafted free agent, and he was actually better than this guy. So who did he take over for? I just want to know. Because I know. I'm supposed to know. It's my job to know. Okay? If y'all don't know, I can tell you. I sure can. Jerry Jacobs took over. I know it was my man, Lynn Barney. No, it wasn't. He definitely didn't take over for Lynn Barney. He was out of Arkansas, but I'm saying, who did he take over for? He took over for one, Jeffrey Ohelno Kuda. Jeffrey Namumbo Ohelno Kuda. Okay? That's who he took over for. You would say it was Cam Sutton that took over for it, but no. Cam Sutton was just brought in here to be CB1 after being CB2 on. Let that sink in. Cam Sutton was brought in here to be CB1 after being CB2 his entire career. Would you guys rather have Cam Sutton or Terrion Arnold? Would you rather have Jerry Jacobs or Terrion Arnold? Cam Sutton and Jerry Jacobs were at least 3-year veterans, right? Before Terrion Arnold got drafted. Undrafted. We have to go back through, but there was see Tactical Sport. See, now you made me not even want to do the show. Okay, you said Will Harris's name, and I feel sick now. Okay, but Will Harris was just a defensive back. He wasn't a corner. He wasn't a safety. He was just a defensive back. He did both things equally poorly. But so yeah, we did have Will Harris. Yeah, why would you bring his name up? I know. We did have that guy who, please continue to roster yourself on other teams or leave the league. Don't come back to the Detroit Lions, please. So we had Kendall Vildor last year. The year before last. And I know everyone is mad at Kendall Vildor because of the helmet face mask thing. I got it. Okay. But, so Kendall Vildor, Jerry Jacobs. Jerry Jacobs was out in Arkansas. I think that might be who you're thinking about. We had Khalil Dorsey get some shine, get some run. Cam Sutton. How many of those guys would you rather have starting on your defense over Terrion Arnold? Whoever they had, the Lions went 12-5 that season. They did. And that was largely because of everything else outside of the corners. The corners were bad. And then, so if we take that logic, once we improved the corner room, which Terrion Arnold was part of that improvement, we went 15-2. Right? So we took the 5 and put it in the win column, and we put the 2 and put it in the loss column. Right? So that debunks his first part of his logic as to why the Detroit Lions have a bust or a potential bust in Terrion Arnold, because he was drafted. Okay, he was drafted to address a weakness, which he addressed. Obviously, everyone else got better, but you can't tell me, oh, well, we would rather have Amik Robertson, Carlton Davis, and Cam Sutton. Or we would rather have Amik Robertson, Carlton Davis, and Jerry Jacobs. Or we would rather have Amik Robertson, Carlton Davis, and the Harris boy. You can't say any of that. If you do say that, you might need to have something checked. Because something wrong with you. Anyway, so I learned a lot, Arnold told reporters after the Lions playoff loss. I feel like coming into this role, it was a lot. I got better as the season went on, started to find myself. It's just one of those things where I'm really looking forward to next year. Last year was certainly a learning experience for the Alabama product. Speaking to his growth down the stretch of the team's schedule, he is expected to be a starter heading into year 2, which he was a starter in year 1. Okay. So it's like what they're saying is he's not going to get demoted, I guess. All right. However, especially while playing for a team that has Super Bowl aspirations, he can't get too comfortable or afford to get off to a slow start in 2025. Detroit signed DJ Reed during free agency to serve as the defense's number 1 cornerback and brought in Avonte Maddox as a veteran insurance policy. While Maddox has primarily lined up at nickelback, 2024 free agent addition Amik Robertson proved to be a versatile player last fall and could move to the boundary if Arnold isn't on top of his game. I don't foresee that. See, this is where Mike Payton, it gets, I don't see Terrion Arnold, year 2, Coach Shep, going, hey, you're benched, get out of here. Unless he turns into Jeffrey Okudah. Like, if he turns into him, then that's a different story. All right. For as much as I like Terrion Arnold, and as much as Lions fans like him too, it's not hard. Hold on. It's not hard to see that he got targeted a lot in 2024 and that he allowed quite a few catches, 60 total. There are a few things worth noting. 39 of those catches were allowed in his first 5 games. 39 of those catches were allowed in his first 5 games. Okay? So if 39 plus 31, 39 plus 21 equals what? Class? 39 plus 21 equals 60. Okay, am I correct in my math? So if you're telling me that in 5 games he gave up 39 catches, there were 12 remaining games in which he gave up 21 catches. What kind of improvement is that? I think it's excellent improvement. Did Jeffrey Okudah ever show you any progress at all? I don't think he did. Jeffrey Namumba Okudah didn't show you any progress at all. He very, very most certainly did not show you giving up 21 catches in 12 games. He might give up 21 catches a week, that guy. Okay? So you're telling me that after the 5th game, his improvement took off. It skyrocketed. 12 games, 21 catches is phenomenal. Okay, ain't pressed. What up, though? You got to come in earlier. You can see what's already been said. What's being said is Terrion Arnold is a bust. All right. So in the next 11 games, he allowed 21 catches and committed 2 penalties. And we have to say, okay, we can't say 12 games because he did miss a game. So 11 games. In the next 11 games, he allowed 21 catches and committed 2 penalties. There was a very clear improvement over time, as Arnold noted. Very clear. The other thing worth noting is that Arnold played more man coverage snaps, and I've said this before, than any rookie in the NFL last year with 555. That is a lot for a rookie to take on, but he took it on really well. He allowed 26 catches and a passer rating of 79.3. That's really good for a rookie. In man coverage snaps, someone do the quick math. He lined up in man coverage 555 times. He allowed 26 catches. What is the percentage of time that you will catch a ball on Terrion Arnold when he is man up on you? I'll do the math. I'll do it right quick. All right, so 555 divided by 26. Is that 21%? Okay, impressed. I think he gave up 4 touchdowns on the year. 4 to 6. Jeff Okudah gave up 4 touchdowns a game. I'm just saying. Jeffrey Okudah would give up 4 touchdowns in a game and then get injured and be out for the rest of the season. Okay? That's really good for a rookie. If I'm not mistaken, I believe he played the most man coverage snaps of any corner in the NFL. Not just the rookies. It said it was zone coverage where Arnold struggled. 25 catches on 30 targets. Okay? With a rating of 146.4. There's no doubt that he needs to get better in that area. So if you're telling me this man allows a catch 21% of the time, when he's in man coverage, but he allowed only 5, he caused 5 incompletions on 30 targets in zone coverage. Does this mean he's a bust, or he's just damn near a shutdown man coverage corner? If you throw the ball at me, or if I line up on you 555 times, I'm sure that they didn't throw the ball his way 550, like every time he was lined up in man coverage. But can somebody tell me why, if you see Jeffrey Okudah lined up in man coverage 555 times, you would throw it in his direction 555 times? And he would somehow allow 576 catches on 555 targets. I don't know how he would do that, but he would do it. Terrion Arnold, 555 man coverage snaps, 26 catches, 21% of the time. When he was in man coverage, he allowed a catch. Let that sink in. 21% of the time that Terrion Arnold was in man coverage, a ball was completed in his direction. Kid Press said, I ain't a chicken shawarma. Okay. TaylorMade Media sums it up perfectly. He doesn't play zone well. Okay, what's the problem? Don't put him in zone. See, this is the problem with these people. I'm gonna give you the problem with stat people only. What's this dude's name? This dude's name is Matthew Holder, I think. I ain't gonna hold you. Okay, Matt Holder. He references stats from PFF. But the fact that you had 555 man coverage snaps and 26 catches completely goes over his head. The fact that I told people all year, I said he's in position. He's got really sticky coverage. He's in phase. And guess what happened? Because he was in phase and he was in position and he had really sticky coverage, he had 555 snaps in man and 26 catches. This is the problem, as I said, with the stat people who don't actually know or watch football. All right, let me continue. Let me finish this article. It's not too much left. All right, the Lions certainly don't seem to have any concern with Arnold. They did sign DJ Reader and Reed. Okay. DJ Reed. And Reed is expected to be CB1 on this team, but that's replacing Carlton Davis. Avonte Maddox was signed by the Lions to play safety as well. So there shouldn't be any concern that he could be waiting in the wings in case Arnold struggles. This secondary is built for him to be their CB2 and eventually take over the top spot on the outside. There shouldn't be any thoughts about Arnold being a bust. Bravo, Mike Payton. Tactical Sport says the Lions didn't play that much zone. Taylor May Media says, or have never played the game. That is correct. I'm sure Matt Holder was probably holding, not even a clipboard on his high school football team. He was probably holding, okay, I don't want to say. He was probably holding a notebook and a pencil. He's probably been in the journalism club since he was in high school. It's fine. Not throwing any shade on him for being in the journalism club and not on the football team. But come on. Come on, bro. Calling this man a butt. 21% of the time in man coverage, he allowed a reception. 21%. After seeing Jerry Jacobs, Cam Sutton, Kendall Vildor, Khalil Dorsey, and a plethora of other people coming in and out of this building, you would love to see someone allow 21% of the time a reception when he locks you up in man coverage. Because at the end of the day, the true measure of a cornerback's ability, I believe, okay, and this is not exactly true because it depends on your scheme. But if you want to talk about mano a mano, you want to talk about the competitive nature of football in all sports, the true measure of any cornerback, go to a camp, go to a football practice. I played corner. When you did the drills, corner versus receiver, you weren't off 10 yards preparing for him to run down the field. You were in his face, press man. Go to any football camp. If it's one-on-one drills, that's NFL training camps. That's whatchamacallit. That's college training camps. That's high school training camps. There's 7-on-7 camps. Any camp that you go to where receivers and corners are doing one-on-one drills, it is one-on-one like it was basketball. And the last time I checked, when you were playing man defense in basketball, you don't give the guy any space. So it was that kind of defense that I say the true measure of a cornerback's skill set and abilities is measured. And for you to tell me he lined up 555 times opposite corners in the man situations and only allowed 26 receptions, you trying to call him a bust is asinine. And you probably should have your, whatever it is, your journalist license, it should probably be revoked. You are crazy. You are crazy. And we shout out to Mike Payton for painting the picture of what a bust is in Jeffrey Namumbo Ohanokuna. Because that's a bust. That's every time you saw whoever was covering or whoever Jeffrey Namumbo Ohanokuna was covering. I say his name really seriously, like that's his real name, right? Jeffrey Namumbo Ohanokuna, right? Whenever he was covering someone and the ball went up, you said, "Oh, damn." Because you knew it was a catch. The only way it wasn't a catch was if it was a bad pass. Which goes back to that one, the first interception that he got against the Cardinals, Kyler Murray. He was busy getting burnt, and Kyler Murray threw the ball behind DeAndre Hopkins, which is why he got the interception, because he was in the position to get it, because he was behind him. And then he goes chirping at the fans. That's when I lost all respect for Jeffrey Namumbo Ohanokuna, because you were busy getting burnt. Barbecue chicken. And someone threw you a bad pass. Threw you the pass. It was like he forgot which colors his receiver was wearing. And he threw you the pass directly. And to your credit, unlike Jaquiski Tartt, you caught it. And then you want to puff out your chest and get on social media and start chirping at the fans. Are you serious? Sign my boo, Phil Cover to the Lions. Phil Coffer. Don't know who that is. Maybe I'll look up. So Taylor Made Media says holding water. Probably. All right. Facts one-on-one coverage. Motown Mitch said would love to see it. Let me see. I gotta switch this. Because on this TV screen, too small. Would love to see it. All anyone has to say bad on TA is his penalties. And so I addressed earlier, he cleaned those up after the first 1/4 of the season. Okay. Thank you, Tactical. You corrected my math. I thought it was pretty high. Okay. Sorry. Tactical corrected my math. He says 26 of 55 or of 555 is 4.68%, not 21%. I forgot to carry the one. Okay. I forgot to carry the one. Don't judge me. Motown Mitch, that was the amount of times he lined up 555 times in man coverage, and he allowed 26 receptions. So that's 4.68% of the time. Okay. I was way off because all I did was, I shouldn't say this on air. All I did was divide 555 by 26. I didn't listen. Math was not my strong point. Okay. But I knew something was wrong. I was like, no, this seemed kind of high. That seems kind of high. 555 and 26, 21%. That seems kind of high. But, yeah. That's my point, Taylor made. How many times was he targeted? He wasn't targeted 555 times. But the reason that he wasn't targeted 555 times is because you look over there and you're like, nah, I'm not throwing that. because he's covered. Right? And everyone wants to throw out Sauce Gardner's rookie season. Sauce Gardner wasn't targeted that much either, because every time you looked at Sauce Gardner, oh, he's covered. %10 of 555 is 55. Yeah, 55.5. Yeah. You're right. You got me. I messed up on that one. Probably less than 100. I would say so. So that's the crazy part, right? If you line up 555 times and you say, okay, it's safe to throw this ball less than 100 times, I feel like you're doing what you're supposed to do as far as coverage. You know, I feel like you're exceeding expectations. I feel like Brad Holmes identified this man as a talent. And I'm going to tell you guys, the only thing I can see is that everyone is looking around the league. You're looking at Quinyon Mitchell. If you don't know ball, you're looking at Cooper DeJean. Because Cooper DeJean, bro, completely different. Oh, he had a pick six. He had a pick six in the Super Bowl. You know why he had that pick six? Because he had a completely healthy defensive line in front of him. Terrion Arnold did more damage as a corner after everybody got injured. Tactical Sports said, I heard you say 21%. I knew you needed, I knew somebody needed to do the math too, because I knew that was too, I knew that was too high. I knew that was too high. That's what I'm saying. So I don't always agree with Brad Holmes. Okay. If you want to talk to me about the impact of Josh Pascal and Levi Onwuzurike, great. Okay. I don't agree with that. But when I'm watching a corner, I'm in my bag. That's my element. Okay. That's my element. Corners and running backs and safeties. Okay. Secondaries, RBs, and wide receivers. Okay. I'm a skill position guy in my bag. Okay. You start talking to me about defensive lines. I measure. Now, if you're like an Ndamukong Suh, and I can see that you're getting double teamed and things like this, and if you're Aiden Hutchinson and in his rookie season, and okay, he had 9.5 sacks, which is good. I don't know why people were tripping. And then the next season, oh, he's got 11.5 sacks. Oh, he's just getting all these pressures. He got 11.5 sacks. He got 11.5 sacks. He got 2 more than the rookie season. He was improving, and there were people that were killing Hutch for getting all these pressures and not getting the sacks. But you also could see that Hutch was getting double and triple teamed. He was getting double teamed and he was getting chipped. Okay? So people like that, yeah, you can see it. But if you try to tell me that Levi Onwuzurike is getting double teamed and that's why he's not getting any stats, then I have to go cap. You know what I'm saying? I have to call cap. One. I get it, Tactical. I'm bad at math, okay? Nah, 0.468%. Nah, okay. That nah. See, you forgot to multiply by 100 or 10. Is it 10? It's 100. You forgot to multiply by 100. That's what you did. I just forgot to carry the 1. So that's what happens sometimes when you don't carry the 1. So it'd be like the answer would be 1 million, but if you carry the 1, the answer would be like 15. You know what I'm saying? So that carrying the 1 is really important. If you don't carry the 1, it's like, yeah, it's gonna mess up a whole lot of stuff. Yeah, see, I know what you did. That's what I'm saying. But like I said, I just didn't carry the one. That's how we went from 4.68 to 21. You got it. The one is really important. The one is really important, and people don't realize how important that one is until you mess up a percentage like I did. But the point is, listen. The point is, ladies and gentlemen, this guy is a freaking clown. Matthew Holder, I ain't gonna hold you, is a clown. Okay? When you reference PFF to say that someone sucked, but then understand what PFF is. PFF is advanced stats. PFF is stuff that you have to look at under the surface that no one else would look at. PFF makes up a lot of things. Okay, I keep going back to the big time throws when not Simeon, anyway, whatever his name is. I feel like it's Simeon. Okay, when Trevor from PFF was talking about Jared Goff and the big time throws, and he made up this stat, which it was like 20 yards down the field into a tight window, and these were big time throws. Like, this is not a real stat. This is not a real stat you are using to rate a quarterback. Like, this is not a real thing. Are you telling me that Jared Goff can't throw the ball into tight windows? Because that's a lie. He does that often, very often. Go back. And so what I did when he started talking that noise is I went back and I looked at that 2023 season when we went to the NFC Championship game, and I looked at all the tight windows that Jared Goff was throwing the ball into. Very tight windows. Some of the windows you were like, some of the windows, it was Stafford-esque. Because Stafford didn't give a damn. This is why we had the problem I had the problem that I had with Stafford. Stafford would try to fit everything into anything. And that was the problem with him. That's why he threw so many interceptions. So now you're telling me that Jared Goff isn't a tight window thrower. And then when I can tell you, well, he is a tight window thrower, then you're like, oh, but it's got to be 20 yards down the field, though. You know, it's like, okay, I'm gonna make up a stat for how you judge cornerbacks. We're gonna call it the shoelace stat. So it's how tight you tie your shoelaces, right, on each pass breakup. If you have a double knot on a pass breakup, then that means that your man coverage statistics are better. Are worse than the one that had a single knot. And the reason that it's worse is because you needed more security and more help because you double knotted your laces. We're calling this the knot stat. Tactical Sport says my minor is in math. Tactical Sport, the reason that I didn't continue with computer science was because of calculus. We are different people. We are very different. Said math and science were my strongest subjects outside of being all sports all the time, LOL. So I'm going to tell you something about me. You know why I didn't like math? One is because my father went back to University of Michigan for electrical engineering when I was 9. So I lived on campus. And he would explain everything to me as if I was a third-year engineering student. And I was like, this is confusing. My teacher didn't say that. She didn't explain it that way. I don't remember what she said. The other thing with math for me is all the other subjects in school. It was to the point where, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn, it was to the point where you would think I was asleep in class, wasn't paying attention, Homework was a very fast process for me. Didn't have to try. And up until I met advanced algebra trig in 11th grade, I had a 3.8 GPA. People were getting mad. Like, and the reason that I never got picked on, obviously, because I was on the football team, but I didn't seem like I was like really, really studying or doing anything. People just knew that I got good grades. But then when they would see me in class, they wouldn't see this outwardly like nerdy type of person. So it was just I think they were kind of confused by me. So I couldn't do that with math. I couldn't just open up the book and go, oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? So that's probably why I hated math as much. Yes, the not stat. The not stat, Taylor made. But okay, I understand what you're saying about Deion Sanders, but what was his not rating though? You know, what's his, I mean, really, guys, the difference between Deion and Darrelle Revis is their not rating, okay? Deion, he's the type of guy that didn't even tie his shoes, so his knot rating is super high. Darrelle Revis was more kind of buttoned up. He was a triple knot type of guy. So, I mean, Darrelle Revis isn't even close to Deion Sanders in the pantheon of all-time cornerbacks. You know what I'm saying? That's the point. Deion Sanders, because of his knot rating, right, being so low, that's why he's the greatest of all time. It really doesn't have anything to do with his coverage skills and his ability and his two-way ability. And, you know, I mean, the swag helps. He's got aura. You know, that helps. But it's the knot rating. Super low knot rating. Probably the lowest knot rating of all time. You know who else had a really, really low knot rating? If he was going to be a corner, they called him Shoelace, Denard Robinson, out of the Michigan Wolverines. Yeah, had he been a corner, his knot rating would have been the lowest of ever because he didn't tie his shoes at all. That's why he had Velcro. Jason Kenyon. Taylor May says you can get tight windows on 4 and 5 yard routes if your LBs stay home and you're passing to a slot. But you also have to say you gotta throw those though. You gotta be able to fit those in there. Jason Kenyon says, I'm glad my sport didn't require college to become a pro, though I did go and was on the team, just wasn't focused on school, just went and continued pros as I did in high school. So was that baseball? Taylor May says, I've seen cats sleep in class and recite every answer the teacher had. Former teammate ended up at Harvard. Yeah, I had an AP US history class one time, and I won't get too much into it, but the teacher was talking about the Electoral College, and I woke up and asked a question, and she was like, pretty much, and I was like, okay, carry on. I went back to sleep. Tactical Spork says, yeah, I wasn't really wanting to study in high school, finished all of my homework on the bus ride home, took all 4 years of math in high school in 2 years. Yeah, see, I was like, why am I in advanced algebra trig? What is this going to benefit me in life? Nothing, apparently. Nothing at all. Jason Kenny says, I understand where you come from. Calculus was the only course I didn't take in high school. Wasn't college science. Everyone thought I was dumb because of my sport. I was sleeping usually in math classes. What was your sport? Was it baseball? Oh, it was rodeo. Saddle Bronco rider, graduated from, all right, I got to switch this again so I can read words. Oh, Ithaca High School. Okay. I was like, what is that? So on my TV, I had to make the resolution really small. I think it's like 120. It's like UHD type of resolution, but it's not a UHD TV. Okay. So when I have the chat on that to read the stuff is difficult to read. it gets like really tiny, so I have to move it back over. It's not because of the buffs. I can see through the buffs. It's fine. Tailor-Made Media says calculus is a language that teaches you to think logically. Peter Phillip. Brother, do y'all want me to tell you the story of how I got an English degree? I'll tell you this. I don't know if I've told this story before. Not on air. I've told the story to other people. But I'll tell you the story. Let me know. If y'all want to hear it, I'll tell it to you. If y'all don't, it's fine. Because, you know, this is a sports show. And we're not here to talk about calculus. I get that. Appreciate those of you who have smashed the like button. If you have not smashed it, please consider going and smashing it right now. All right, Tactical Sports says yes. All right, so here's the thing. Went to Kennesaw State University. Was working at Kohl's department store on the night shift, the graveyard shift, 10 to 6 a.m., 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. So I did my classes in the evening. Started around like 6 p.m., go to classes for 4 hours, or no, go to classes for like 2-3 hours, then go to work. So I get to Kennesaw State and we have it wasn't even calculus, it was pre-calculus. So my pre-calculus teacher, the professor, he was Chinese. Really cool dude, right? But he told us some things in the first class that shaped my entire attitude about the class from the jump. First thing that he told us is if you do not spend 9 hours per week outside of this classroom studying for this class, you will not pass. And I immediately was like, well, I done failed already because I got a job. You know what I'm saying? I got stuff to do. I'm not about to sit up here studying for no 9 hours, some stuff that I don't even understand. I'm not going to do it. Then this man said, and why did he say this? He said, you don't have to do the homework. I was like, what? Oh, bruh, I'm failing with flying colors because I'm not finna do nothing. He said something after that, which I should have paused and said, hey, what does that mean? But because I was in my euphoria of understanding that I was not about to do nothing except come to class, didn't care. He said, you don't have to do the homework, but you will see it again. Now, again, I should have said, what does that mean, sir? But I didn't take the opportunity to say that. I didn't say anything. I was just over there nodding in approval, like, boy, your boy about to get the cakewalk up in here. What that meant was that when he prepared an exam, he did it from the homework that he assigned, like the exact homework. So basically, had you done the homework and then you participated in him going over the homework in class, you'd have been much better prepared for the exam that you would eventually see. I did not know that, nor did I care. Okay? So we got to fast forward to the end of the semester, coming up on the final, and I go to him. Now, I never talked in his class at all. I don't think he ever heard my voice. I didn't ask him any questions, nothing. So I go to him the day of the final, and he looks at me and says, what are you going to do? Okay. He knew me because I was the guy that never turned in any homework. I never asked any questions, and I failed every single test. So he's like, what are you going to do? I said, I'm not going to take it. He said, why? I said, well, while I was failing the last test, I did some calculations. Now, my calculations were correct in this one tactical. My percentage stuff was down at that point, okay, because I had to do it, at the time. So he said, what are your calculations? I said, well, I would have to get 100% on this final exam to get a D in your class. He said, if you get 100% on the final, I'll give you a C. And I looked at him and I said, if I could get 100% on the final, I wouldn't be in this situation. He laughed and he said, so what are you going to do? I said, I'm not going to take it. He was like, all right, I'll see you next semester. I said, I'll see you next semester. Never saw him again. Walked up out of there, changed to English. So that's how I did not continue my education and get a degree in computer science. Many years later, as I was teaching multiple Japanese and Korean computer scientists English, I would ask them, you guys use calculus? And they would all laugh. They would tell me no. And I'm like, well, damn, y'all don't have to be sitting up here laughing. And, yeah, and there was another one. I saw through this one, though. I saw through. They brought this guy. We had this one teacher. We were taking classes online. She was like, you don't have to come into class ever unless like I have a guest speaker or something. So I want you to come in. So cool. So we come in because she has a guest speaker. This guest speaker is a computer scientist working for some company. I don't know. And he was telling us how horrible the job was, how you don't see your family, how you work on holidays, you never have a break, never have a day off. He was acting like he was working up in an internment camp or something. So I imagine that when he walked out of the room, he probably said, yes, 4 more years, right? He was there to keep his job. He wasn't there to motivate us, to give us any type of, free game, nothing. He was there to keep his job. So that is the story of how I, became an English teacher. Taylor May says, tell it, trust me, this goes into the data analytics that every professional sports organization now uses. Taylor Made Media says that 9-hour rule is facts. Well, I broke it because I can probably tell you that when I got home, the book went on the desk and didn't get open at all. I was like, damn, all of that. No, it wasn't 9 hours a day. It was 9 hours a week. 9 hours a week. It said pre-calculus doesn't take 9 hours a day to study. I took pre-calculus, calculus 1 and calculus 2, and didn't study 9 hours a day. Just a Fan says, hello, and God bless you all. What up, doe? Just a Fan. Yeah, it was rough, man. It was rough. But later on in life, I taught myself. I had a friend teach me JavaScript. It was really just an overall bad experience. Just going back on it, my professor, my programming professor, was this Indian guy who taught us absolutely nothing. I'm not going to do the accent because then people will be calling me racist. He taught us absolutely nothing. He would go off on a tangent, and then he would come back and give us an assignment, right? I remember the first assignment that he gave us. The first assignment that he gave us was to use JavaScript to make the page say hello. When I tell you he went off on a tangent, I don't think you can, I will quantify it by telling you the question that everyone had. He went off on a tangent. He came back and gave us an assignment to use JavaScript to make the page say hello. And we are looking at each other. What is JavaScript? This is the type of tangent that he would go off on. Okay? And he'd be telling us stuff like, don't cheat on the homework, because if you do, I can't say it without the accent. I'm sorry. I'm not being racist. I'm just being accurate. I'm being true to the story. Don't cheat, because if you do the homework and you cheat, because I don't personally check the homework. I don't check it but I have people that check it. So I know if you are cheating, don't cheat. It was just like, so he was terrible as a professor, didn't teach us anything. So I wound up dropping his class and just, like I said, I walked out with an English degree. Said there's a little calculus in computer science when doing time complexity. That's about it. Not enough to warrant going up to calculus 2. But so what I've learned like I said, I had a friend teach me JavaScript. I taught myself React. What I've learned is there is a extension and a tool to do just about everything that you need to do. And if you can't figure it out with the extensions or the tools, then you reach out to your homie, be like, hey, I need you to go ahead and program this function so I can get it in the site, or I can get it in the app or the software, or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? So, but also all of my coding and web design and app building and all this other stuff has come under my own umbrella. I haven't done it professionally for a company. I've been paid. I started building websites in 2013. I've been paid for that, numerous times. But again, I did all of that as a sole trader on my own. I never wanted to work for any company or anything of that nature with skills that I taught myself. So, right, Taylor, don't cheat, because if you cheat, I don't look at your homework. But I will know that you are cheating. Like, bruh? How you know I cheated? How you know? You got a student aide telling you such and such cheated. It's like, what is cheating? Like, how do you cheat in homework? That's the question that I have. Like, people routinely, especially in university settings, will get together and study with each other and do homework together. Define cheating in your homework. You know what I'm saying? Jess Van says, Chef never cheats. You are correct. I think cheaters are reprehensible people, right? Except in sports. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't cheating, Sammy Sosa, Mark Aguirre, Jose Canseco, Barry Bonds, I get it. Chicks dig the long ball. Chicks dig the long ball. All right. The TaylorMade meat is a piece of cake. Hello world. Yeah, it is a piece of cake. But when you are in a class and someone is supposed to be teaching you what JavaScript is, and they don't even touch what JavaScript is until they give you the assignment to use JavaScript, and they don't even, you don't even know. I'm like, what is JavaScript? Nothing. Nothing at all. Said I learned JavaScript when I was in the Marines. I was tasked with building the battalion website. I learned it on my own. I learned it so well that 22 years later, my TAs, CS1, would ask me questions. Right. Well, I taught myself CSS and React. So how about that? Yeah, because I knew how to build. I knew how to build websites, but it was just the HTML. I didn't really know how to use JavaScript. So I have a friend who's a coder, and he taught me how to do it. So I was like, oh, okay. You know. Dad doing it for you is cheating. I don't know why your father would be doing your university homework. But that I did ask you to define what cheating is in university. So, university homework. TaylorMade Media says, mailbag, what is your biggest takeaway from Doc's insights last night? Man, we talked about so much stuff. What is my biggest takeaway? My biggest takeaway is that Doc is leading the charge against complacency in the defensive end edge rusher room. My biggest takeaway is that Brad Holmes' irritation with the media and their edge rusher questions probably stemmed from Doc. So that was a big takeaway from me. You know, as he said, OTAs are like glorified walkthroughs. So there wasn't a ton to glean from them. But yeah, so I would say that. I'm looking at this. There's a headline. It says, is Chiefs Patrick Mahomes still the number one quarterback in the NFL? I mean, what did he do to not be? Do you think because Jalen Hurts beat him in the Super Bowl that Jalen Hurts is now the number one quarterback in the NFL? Don't know about that one. He said, I listened to this show 3 times. I was blown away about his Jared Goff takes. What particularly blew you away? JavaScript is writing while drinking coffee. I like that one, Jessica. I like that one. And guess what? The person who invented it might have been doing just that. He's like, oh, I'm doing this script and I'm drinking coffee. And he might have just had an aha moment, an epiphany. He's like, I'll call this JavaScript. Could have happened. Probably not. It was probably, the Java language is probably made before JavaScript, and it was, I don't know. I don't know which one came first, the chicken or the egg. That he doesn't believe that Jared Goff can carry the squad. Well, there's a lot of people that don't believe he can carry the squad. As far as winning because of him and winning with him, I think to win because of a quarterback, that quarterback must be elite. And I don't think there's anything wrong with not being elite, because if it was so easy to be elite, everyone would be. Right? Every team would have an elite running back. We've got one. Would you call Josh Jacobs elite? I wouldn't call him elite. It's very good, right? What makes him elite? So, I mean, when you talk about the top 5 or the top 3 running backs in the league, they're elite. Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, Jahmyr Gibbs, or Jahmyr Gibbs, Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, or Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, Jahmyr Gibbs. Like, whatever those guys are the elite backs in the league. Right? Barry Sanders was elite. I mean, like, I don't think Barry Sanders is elite. I think there's another word that you have to use for Barry Sanders. Barry Sanders was otherworldly. Let's say that. Let's not call him elite. Let's call him alien. Okay? So Barry Sanders was an alien. So you have alien, which is like, this guy does things that you've never seen before and you probably won't see again. Michael Jordan was an alien. Barry Sanders is an alien. So then you have, amongst the regular people, you have elite. So everyone can't be elite. And I think elite gets thrown around too much as if it's just, like the Navy SEALs are elite, right? And you have to look at all the training and stuff that they go through. It's like, that's not regular stuff that they do, right? You can die in training as a Navy SEAL. So when they come out of that, they have a skill set that no one else has. So I was told that Jared Goff is indeed elite. I mean, Jared Goff has elite traits. He has elite accuracy, right? If you can go through an entire season and you're over 70% in accuracy, and no one has done it with the amount of passes that you threw, and I forget all the stats, but there were 4 things that Jared Goff did this season that no one has ever done in their career. So it was like he did 4 of these things that no one has ever done one of. So you could say that this past season, he was indeed and in fact elite because of that. If he continues to do that, then you will not be able to argue, is he elite or not? Just a fan says nobody ran like Barry Sanders. Facts. That's why he's an alien. Tactical Spork says Java and JavaScript was developed from C++. See, you know your language is much more than I do. Doc is the first that you've heard that said Jared Goff's $50 million is untenable. I think his point was more so you're paying him $50 million. You got to win because of him. Now, here's the thing. Everybody's getting paid. Like his $50 million now is, I think, 8th highest. Right? Brock Purdy is getting the same annually. And then you got other guys that can't take a team to what Jared Goff is taking his team to, and they're getting paid more. I think Jordan Love is getting paid more. Jordan Love, if you want to get into the whole skill set argument and all this stuff that Easy gets into, but I think between the ears, Jordan Love I feel like Jordan Love is an average quarterback. So even average quarterbacks are getting paid $50 million a year. So. All right, guys, I would love to hang out with you some more and chop it up. But I do have to get back to work, so I am going to do that. I appreciate everyone coming through, stopping by, hanging out with your boy, as always. There is something I'm probably going to get into a little bit more. I just got the email that I was selected to try something called communities. I think it goes beyond like just the post tab and things like that. I feel like it's already there. I don't know, but I'm going to look into more of it. And if it is something different than posts, I'm going to have different stuff up. I don't know. I guess I should start posting more and, just doing more stuff. Like I said, I got a lot of stuff, bro. I got a lot of stuff I'm doing. But anyway, the Motor City Cats are back at it. We came to give you stats and not static. Whatever you do, make sure you keep your Lions news pragmatic. And we're going to be out. And once again, remember, I do not have a problem telling you I'm not great at math. See, I'm human. Peace.